Chapter 90, guys. Fresh out of the shower. Cannot believe it, we've made it this far. Here we go. Buckle up, babies, because this story is going to open up Pandora's box. Well, let's hope that's the only box that'll be open, okay? Oh, Malanga edition. Oh, fuck, I spoke too soon. So August 2023, it was around a year and a half since I had ended my 16-year marriage with my now ex-husband. I wasn't looking for a man, and I definitely wasn't ready for what was meant to be a one-night stand. Or in this case, one-night bend over under whatever. Facebook seems to be the island edition of Tinder. So I wasn't surprised when a random person added me. His profile picture screamed red flag, but I was curious. Let's see if curious got you pregnant, okay? I'm usually quite a reserved and cautious person, so against all my morals, I did some investigating. I seen that this guy and I had two friends in common, and upon further digging, I found out he plays for the Australian Samoan Federation, Corporation, Allegation, Gilikiki team from the 43. If you know, you know. What's 43? Red flag number 1. I then called one of the guys who was a friend in common to check if this guy was married, because Ba'u was written all over that smiley profile pic. This guy friend of mine told me that he was not married. However, he was seeing someone on and off, last he heard. Even encouraged me to accept his request. Wrong move on every level. Again, against all my morals, I accept the Sosisi. Not even 1 minute goes by and Sosisi messages me on Messenger. Sosisi is a fitting name, so let's stick with that. This was his very first message to me. Oanga meva leo whai, red flag number 2. I remember it was a Friday afternoon, and as I was typing a silly reply to play the Sosisi's games, he video calls. I ignore. He video calls again, so I answer. I picked up and said, Molea, wha lave mai o leo sokangaka. Because I'm cheeky like that. Well, now you're kind of entertaining him, sis. He laughs and asks where I am, and thus begins a receipt of conversation back and forth. Can't remember what number red flag we're up to, but at around 5 p.m. he stops messaging. Saturday morning he video calls again and says he was sorry for not messaging back because he fell asleep because he had work in the morning. Even I know that's bullseki. Anyways, we agreed to meet up that night. Come pick me up at this place and at this time, but don't come to my house. I'll walk down the street, is what he said. Sir is a walking red flag. Anywho, I asked him to show me where he lives and I'll drop him off. So Sisi laughs and asks to come to mine. No, I didn't take him home. Instead, we found the darkest part of Red Bank and parked up. Is Red Bank in Queensland? So Sisi wasn't messing around. I hadn't had a bit of D since separating from my now ex-husband, so this was exhilarating. This guy had me gasping for air. No air, no air. Anyways, once we were done, I went to turn on the car and he reckons, oh sis, can you just drop me off home? Sis! I couldn't stop laughing. And then he goes, oh sorry babe, kao no le fale. So being a cheeky, I say, why are you in a rush? Is your wife going to be mad? He says, you're my wife. Lord Almighty. I dropped him off home and we didn't speak for the rest of the weekend. However, Monday rolls around and this Sosisi starts messaging me before work, on his breaks and after work, but never after 5 p.m. because the fob is married. I had a feeling he was either married or in a relationship, but when I ask, he just says he lives with a strict auntie. This dude is over 30 years old. Oh, crikey. I'm gonna cut the next 3 months of this headache of a guy because not only did I neglect my self-worth, ignore the red flags, but my mental health also took a back seat, and the bad things continued for those 3 months. So fast forward to just before Christmas, we were meant to spend the weekend together with his cousin and his cousin's wife, who I had met twice. The day before we were meant to leave, he started a fight with me that ended up with me cancelling on the trip. The cousin's wife messages me and asks if she could call me. She told me that he's actually in a relationship with the girl from his church and they were actually due to get married. Maybe she had the Christmas spirit or something because sis could have told me when we first met the first time. This guy had been telling his cousin that he wanted out of the marriage and wanted to run away because he didn't want to return to Samoa. This guy asked for money, clothes, shoes, alcohol, and all sorts of stuff. Every time I said no, he would get mad and say that I don't love him. That is such a fob thing to do. One time he spent the night at my house. I went through his phone because he kept saying he had nothing to hide. Apart from a billion selfies, nothing really stood out, but maybe because he already hid everything. Anyways, I blocked him on all platforms after having the audacity to ask me for 30 grand to buy his mum a car in Samoa. Sorry? I finally realized after a night of too much wine that I'm so much better than this. So I told him where to stick his sausage the next time he called, begging for me to take him back. We recently bumped into each other, and that smile that once made me all tingly now made me want to punch his throat. Apparently he's still doing the same thing, and that strict auntie is actually his longtime girlfriend. A birdie also told me that this guy may also have a child, but my investigation stopped back when I picked up my balls again and acted like the queen I know I am. Next one. When I was around 16, this new family joined our congregation. My family were nice to them until they told us that they were Mormons who decided to join our Methodist church to be closer to the Tongan community in our area. My parents don't like Mormons, and told my sister and I, let's call her Vale, to stay away from their son. We will call him Bumpy, who was known for being a man-whore. This one time I was in our church hall cleaning and he walked in. He started up a conversation and I felt bad for him not being liked in our congregation and talked to him until Vale walked in telling me that we were going home. We quickly added each other on Snap and he told me he would message me that night saying it felt good to have a mate now. Later on, I got a snap from Bumpy and opened it. It was of him flexing in the mirror saying, hey. I sent him a snap back asking what's up, and that's when we started talking. It was all normal until a few days later he snapped me his laho. Ew. I felt awkward, not only because I never thought he would be like that, but also because his laho looked really effing weird with bumps and shit on it. Oh! He told me that it was nothing weird and it was between us because we were mates. And me being the horny bitch I was, decided to ask if he wanted to do the bad things the next day before our youth meeting. Well, the laho didn't put you off then, did it? The next day, I left home early telling my mum that I'd be going to help set up. Mum originally told Vale to go with me, but Vale said she couldn't and was doing her hair in the bathroom. When Bumpy and I met up at church, we went straight to the bathroom and I gave him the saki. When he finished, we went to the hall right before youth started and helped set up, like acting like everything was normal. It became our little routine. Go early to youth, do the bad things, then go help set up before everyone came. This went on for a while until a few weeks later, my mum called Vale and I to the living room. She was holding Vale's phone in her hand and told us to sit on the ground. After we sat down, she went absolutely apeshit at Vale, screaming, "Why would you be sending these type of photos to Bumpy?" My mouth dropped. Oh, mine too, girl.